One of the most interesting things, and when I was watching the movie, it didn't really occur to me that this is what was going on until I heard Jeff, you say it in an interview, that the movie really is a love triangle. And it's Austin Butler's character who is, looking for a community, and he joins up with this biker gang. And there's a leader of the biker gang played by Tom Hardy, that's the Johnny character. But he also falls in love with this amazing woman, Kathy, played by Jodie Comer. And that idea of a love triangle really is, to me, what kind of holds the movie together. Sure. And Austin's faced with the impossible choice of choosing between Jodie Comer and Tom Hardy.
How do you pick?
Yeah, how do you pick?
Come on.
You pick.
Can't you just have it all?
Well, we know what he ultimately picked. I don't want to spoil anything.
No spoilers, but.
But can you each talk a little bit about how that love triangle informed your character's motivations, and also, Jeff, why, when you hit upon that sort of cornerstone for the script?
Well, I knew there was this kind of broader trajectory of the shift from a social club into a proper gang, right? And that's going to take a decade. That's going to take us from the late 50s to the early 70s. But movies are made in moments. Movies are made in real time, So what is this thing that's happening on screen that can happen over the course of many years, but feel like you're following the trajectory of it, the narrative of it, and yeah, this tension, between these two people that want something from a young man that wasn't built to want anything. That felt like dramatic tension, and so it kind of. I had the interviews with Kathy talking about Benny, so that was kind of already built to a degree. I just had to then create this relationship between Johnny and Benny, and then all of a sudden you're standing back and looking at it and saying, oh, that's conflict, and it's really in this scene after Benny gets his ankle broken that the three characters are really in the same place and talking, and it's in this motel room, and you get this really interesting dynamic that they're both kind of vying for something out of this young man, and that's halfway through the film, and that's really when you kind of establish, okay, that's what this movie's about.
Yeah, because I think with Kathy, I feel like the tension grew over time. She says at the start of the movie that he's a respectable guy. He had a real job, took care of his family, and there's no question about his power, but I think there is a respect there, and then I feel like that over time kind of erodes as the club changes and becomes a lot more dangerous and criminal. And Kathy's kind of on the periphery because she's part of the gang because of her marriage to Benny, and she can just see things in a different light. She sees what they're avoiding. They kind of got their blinkers on, and is kind of wanting to shake them and be like, is this really worth it? And as a result of that, causes a lot of friction, because Kathy, the reasons why she fell in love with them then become the reasons what she wants. She's trying to take him away from those things, which isn't fair, but it comes from a place of just wanting him to be safe and close to her.
And maturity.
Yeah.
We see her grow up. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that was one thing that when I met Danny, I only met him once, but that was one thing that he said to me when I met him, was that she was smarter than all of them. She has this awareness. So yeah, and that's what, she kind of confronts Johnny and tries her best to say, you can't have him, he's mine. But it doesn't work. It doesn't work. Yeah.
There's this one of the scenes I really like after Austin's character's kind of fled town. Johnny, Tom's character, comes by and sees you, and I really like that scene because you're not exactly sure why he's coming by. He says it's that he's looking for Benny, but he knows Benny's not around. And what it says to me is that through this weird love triangle, you've taken Benny out of that equation now, and all he has left is Kathy to talk to, and there's kind of the spirit of Benny still left there, in on the edges of things, but he's I think in a strange way he wanted to show up and talk to Kathy.
Yeah.
You know,
But it's that inability, isn't it? You can see that he wants to say something, and she's like, "Is there anything else, Johnny?" And it's like he's on the cusp of potentially, and he's like, "No."
yeah,
And she's like, "Ugh."
these
you
freaking
know?
guys.
Yeah.
Just say it. I really like.
There's so much love that goes unsaid in so many of these moments. I think of, the love between Benny and Johnny, and the love between Benny and Kathy, and then how it all fits together, and all the feelings that are boiling up underneath, but that aren't really vocalized. And
They can't do it.
They can't.
They need to be on a podcast and sit on the couch and talk it out.
Be on SiriusXM.
This is where they should be.
Exactly.
Best place for it.